Hello everyone, and welcome to my bold and the beautiful spoilers. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. Carter can't be relied upon. The strong and the lovely spoilers say that somebody's heart is going to get broken. Obviously, we are discussing Trust Logan, as it seems as though Carter can't be relied upon. Continue perusing underneath for all that you really want to be aware. The striking and the lovely spoilers. Carter can't be believed. Per the most recent episode of The Strong and the Wonderful, Daphne has made plainly she is into Carter and in additional ways that, however, it appears as though he feels the same way. Daphne then, at that point, said that she can manage the subtleties of her agreement at some other point and afterward discussed what really carried her to Forrester manifestations. Carter then, at that point, redirected the conversation and discussed the aromas. At the point when Daphne requested that Carter take a whiff that was on her, Trust Logan went into the room the second it seemed to be both of them were going to kiss. It was certainly a stunning second that will have Trust rethink her relationship with Carter will go starting now and into the foreseeable future. Trust is most certainly going to struggle for this. All things considered, she's now had incredibly troublesome associations with individuals like Liam Spencer and Thomas Forrester. Once more, she needn't bother with her heart broke into pieces once more, yet it seems to be that will occur. The striking and the delightful spoilers. What's next for Carter and Trust? It will likewise be exceptionally fascinating to find out how Carter is turning out to squirm right out of this one. It will be exceptionally difficult for Desire to believe him in the wake of seeing him get extremely very close with Daphne. It's a given that the strong and the delightful fans will essentially need to tune in every single day to figure out what will occur straight away. The strong and the delightful airs workdays on the CBS organization. Really take a look at your neighborhood postings for times. Meanwhile, let us in on your thought process by leaving us a line with your viewpoints in our remarks segment beneath. Additionally, remember to return here for all the most recent news and updates on your number one superstars alongside the most recent spoilers from The Strong and the Wonderful. Carter Walton has been a focal person on The Intense and the Wonderful for quite a while, and his relationship with Trust Logan has taken many exciting bends in the road. Once more Expectation, who has proactively gone through despair in past connections, especially with Liam Spencer and Thomas Forrester, is at a junction. Her confidence in Carter, somebody she had come to depend on inwardly, is presently in risk after a progression of occasions including Daphne. Daphne, another person brought into the universe of Forrester manifestations, has spread the word about it that she is keen on Carter. She isn't unobtrusive about her sentiments, and Carter, however at first wary, is by all accounts answering decidedly to her advances. The two offer an unquestionable science that forms over the long haul, and it ultimately comes full circle in a second that makes Trust question everything. In a critical scene, Daphne and Carter are in closeness, examining matters that appear to hold individual significance for the two of them. At a certain point, Daphne offers Carter the chance to take a whiff of her scent, which is an apparently guiltless second from the outset. Nonetheless, things raise rapidly, and similarly as it seems they are going to kiss, Trust strolls into the room. This second is dangerous and Power's desire to go up against the truth of her relationship with Carter. For Trust, this is a staggering blow. Her close-to-home history has proactively been sufficiently confounded, and the possibility of being harmed again feels like a lot to handle. She's experienced the ringer with Liam and Thomas, both of whom have deceived her in their own particular manners, so she's naturally careful about giving her heart to somebody like Carter. Trust's response to the circumstance is one of mistrust and agony. She's compelled to address Carter's dependability, however her own judgment. Having experienced the profound roller coaster that was her previous connections, she's not in that frame of mind to permit one more man to make her extremely upset. Carter, who once appeared as though a steady and dependable accomplice, presently has all the earmarks of being somebody who can't be depended upon. The pressure between the characters increases as Trust mulls over her best course of action. She's been harmed previously, and confronting another selling out is an unpleasant reality. For Carter, the circumstance is similarly complicated. He presently needs to sort out some way to account for himself and whether re-establishing trust is even conceivable. Carter ends up in a troublesome position. His affections for Daphne are irrefutable, yet he likewise has an association with trust that he would rather not lose. How might he explore what is happening? Could he at any point figure out how to demonstrate to trust that he's as yet deserving of her trust, or has he previously lost her for good? The intense and the delightful spoilers recommend that Carter should strive to recapture Trust's confidence. It will not be simple, and there are no ensures that their relationship will endure this most recent deterrent. For devotees of the show, this is a basic defining moment, as the destiny of Carter and Trust's relationship remains in a critical state. The central issue that remains is, what occurs next for Carter and Trust? Can they take care of through the problems with their relationship, or is this the start of the end for them? As the show unfurls, watchers will observe near perceive how Carter attempts to squirm right out of this present circumstance. Might he at any point persuade Trust that his activities weren't so serious as they showed up, or will this be one more part in the tale of Trust's disaster? Fanatics of the striking and the wonderful are no aliens to sensational turns, and this storyline vows to convey a lot of close-to-home pressure and struggle. Whether Carter and Trust can find a way back to one another or whether they head out in a different direction is yet to be seen. The aftermath from this second will probably reverberate all through the show for quite a while to come. Carter Walton, a focal person in the striking and the wonderful, has as of late ended up in a tornado of inner disturbance, especially encompassing his relationship with Trust Logan. For some fans, Carter's personality has been viewed as a balancing-out force, somebody who has gotten through his own battles yet made a proportion of progress in his own and proficient life. Be that as it may, the most recent improvements in the drama world have tossed his validity into question, especially after his irrefutable gravitation with Daphne, a newbie to Forrester manifestations. The stunning arrangement of occasions that followed has left Trust addressing whether Carter can really be relied upon, an allegation that challenges all that he has represented as of recently. Carter and Trust's relationship has been one of progressive turn of events. Trust, who has previously persevered through heartbreaks from huge figures like Liam Spencer and Thomas Forrester, discovered a feeling that everything is good in Carter. Their close-to-home association was at first based on shared regard, appreciation, and authentic consideration for each other. Carter, known for major areas of strength for him of faithfulness and incredible skill, immediately turned into an individual that Trust felt she could rely upon. In numerous ways, Trust's confidence in Carter felt like a protected harbor, something she frantically required after her turbulent past. Nonetheless, the seeds of uncertainty started to grow when Carter's unique interaction to Daphne turned out to be more obvious. While Daphne had been somewhat baffling when originally presented, it didn't take long for her to spread the word about her affections for Carter. All along, obviously Daphne was keen on something beyond an expert connection with Carter. She made strong advances, testing Carter's limits and constraining him to go up against the arising strain between them. While Carter at first attempted to keep his expert separation, the science among him and Daphne was substantial, leaving watchers as eager and anxious as can be, considering the way that far it would go. The defining moment in Carter and Trust's relationship came when Daphne and Carter were in an apparently blameless second together in the workplace. The climate was charged, with both of them dividing individual discussion and closeness that obscured the lines among expert and individual. As the circumstance developed more personal, Daphne, ever strong, recommended that Carter take a whiff of her scent. This apparently honest solicitation immediately swelled into a strained second, where it gave the idea that a kiss was inescapable between them. Similarly, as the second was going to unfurl, Trust went into the room, getting Carter and Daphne in a close second. The shock all over was indisputable, and her profound response was one of torment, selling out, and mistrust. For Trust, this second filled in as a reminder, driving her to address all that she assumed she had some awareness of Carter. Might she at any point trust him? Was his dedication to her as undaunted as she had accepted? What's more, above all, would she say she was ready to confront one more broken heart? Trust's close-to-home excursion after this revelation has been absolutely tragic. For somebody who has proactively confronted gigantic catastrophe from her associations with Liam and Thomas, giving her heart to another person, just to be deceived once more, was a lot for her to bear. The trust she had put in Carter currently felt lost, and she had to defy her apprehensions about weakness by and by. Trust's conflict under the surface became one of self-uncertainty and agony. She had consistently highly esteemed being major areas of strength for a lady, yet when it came to issues of the heart, she had frequently ended up left in the remains of broken trust. The profound cost of watching Carter's activities with Daphne unfurl before her eyes passed on trust scrutinizing her capacity to make good decisions in connections. It wasn't just about the harm brought about via Carter, it was additionally about the acknowledgement that she had confided in somebody too effectively, just to wind up in a similar excruciating position by and by. For Carter, the circumstance was similarly convoluted. Carter, a man who had forever been depicted as fair, presently ended up at an intersection. His association with Daphne was obvious, however his set of experiences with trust implied that he had a great deal to lose. Carter's personality has forever been one that values devotion and trustworthiness, however his close-to-home association with Daphne put him in conflict with those qualities. He had to explore an inexorably tough spot, where his affections for the two ladies made an unmanageable pressure. Carter's predicament became about his own cravings, yet about how he could fix the harm he had caused. Might he at any point re-establish trust after a particularly cozy and public presentation of fondness with another person? Was there some method for accounting for himself, or had he previously crossed a line that would never be scattered? Carter was trapped in a snare through his own effort, one that he would need to painstakingly unwind on the off chance that he expected to rescue his relationship with trust. As time elapsed, Trust ended up wrestling with whether or not to excuse Carter or leave. Her heart yearned for dependability, however her psyche told her that absolution may be inconceivable. All things considered, trust is the underpinning of any solid relationship, and when that trust is broken, it's hard to remake. For Trust, the circumstance was made more troublesome by her previous encounters with Liam and Thomas. The two men had sold out her in their own particular matters, and the injuries from those connections were still new. To hold nothing back from Carter again implied gambling one more awfulness. Might she at any point face that challenge? Was Carter really deserving of her trust, or would he say he was simply one more man who might let her down? The decision among pardoning and self-protection turned into a focal topic in Trust's struggle under the surface. She realized that easygoing Carter would require something other than words. It would require a profound close-to-home obligation to remaking the trust they once shared. In any case, the inquiry remained, might she at any point force herself to make it happen? The drawn-out results, what's next for Carter and Trust? The aftermath from this present circumstance will probably have dependable ramifications for both Carter and Trust. The elements of their relationship have moved unalterably, and the trust they once shared might very well never be completely re-established. Nonetheless, the chance of compromise remains, but with huge difficulties. For Carter, the way to recovery will be long and troublesome. He should demonstrate that his affections for Trust are veritable, and that his activities with Daphne were a fleeting mental blunder, instead of an impression of his actual goals. He should exhibit the profundity of his obligation to Trust in the event that he desires to win back her trust. For Trust, the excursion forward is one of self-reflection and close-to-home recuperating. She should figure out what she really needs from her relationship with Carter, and whether the aggravation of treachery is something she can at last excuse. Yet again as usual, Trust's capacity to push ahead will rely upon her ability to trust, and whether Carter can substantiate himself deserving of that trust.